Hey there, Wargamers, Justin our Painter, and boom, got another box here to unbox before we head off to Adepticon next week as of filming this. Not sure when they'll go up, but yeah, got a box here, so let's get into it. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for supporting what I do. And if you're new here, what are you waiting for? Alpha strike that like and subscribe button. Let's help get this channel going. With that being said, let's jump into this box of minis that I was sent for my Nova Grinder box. These minis here were from Kelly Caudle. I think I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. That's H20 from the Death Resigns Discord. I don't have a call sign for him yet, but he sent me some mechs, and it is a doozy here because I am told that he may have sent more than was requested. So that said, let's get into it. I don't need this today because this box is already open. He dropped them off with Robert from Fortress Miniatures and Games, and Bobby, Mr. Bobby himself, dropped them off for me. So let's get into the minis. We have an archer here. This isn't painted because Bobby wants me to paint an archer for him, and I forgot this was in here, so we'll just ignore that. Small little commission for Fortress Minis and Games. So let's get into the minis in the box. What's in the box? Alright, so these aren't individually wrapped, so I'm just gonna reach in here, and we're gonna pull them out, and I will put them off to the side. I'm not sure exactly what scheme they were painted for or what house, so we're just going to check out the minis and see what he has provided us with. Alright, so let's line these up here, boop, 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 and we'll get out our handy dandy GW paint handle, and we'll showcase the minis. So it looks like we've got two different camo paint schemes, which should go pretty well with some of the other minis that we had. These here were from Justin. We got the Warhammer. So the green schemes here and the drabs should work. Got kind of more of a, I think, jungly vibe versus like swamp vibe. Looks good, nice contrast. So let's jump into the one in the front. Mr. Kelly has sent us a Locust. And honestly, you can never go wrong with having a Locust. You always need them, or I want to say you don't always need them, but you can always find points for a Locust. They're annoying little turds, and you can't ignore them. And if you do ignore them, they'll get behind you, and they'll swarm you and be annoying. That's what they do, and I love Locusts. It's one of my favorite lights. You'll be hard-pressed probably to find, I don't know, it's between 16 and 20 points better spent. Like, Locust is great, and I think this is a great addition to the Grinder box. We don't have a Locust in the Grinder box yet, and it looks like we're going to have two. So we've got the kind of swamp-themed Locust from Kelly. And we've got this one, which I think this is one of the newer ones. This is from, I think, the new Alpha Strike box. Did that one have a Locust? I can't remember. I just know that it's got the different stance. So we've got two different Locust poses, which I dig. From the minis thus far, I probably favor the more jungly looking one, the brighter green. I think that looks really good. There's nothing wrong with this one, but this green really pops and it calls to me. And also he, I'll be curious in what order Kelly painted these. I got a feeling the lighter ones were the second batch. I could be wrong. But I'll talk about why, because I'm getting ready to zoom in on a detail that he did that I really like, and I think it adds a little extra. So, you probably guessed it, he did some scorching on the barrel, and it's subtle, but it's nice. It's not over the top, and it gets the point across. So you have this kind of blue-purple hue here on the end, going back into kind of a brass or coppery look, like the tinted metal right here, and it looks really good. I don't know how to exactly describe that color transition, but you know, if you Google burnt metal or scorched metal, that's what will come up. And between the two, I also got stepped up the game here, and we've got some canopy coloration difference. This one looks it looks like it's blacked out. I don't know if it was supposed to be black or blue, or if it's just black, but this one we've got a little bit more color going on, so definitely some stepping up there. I'd be curious to know if this was a second batch. I feel like I'm probably pretty close in that assessment. So yeah, I dig it, and I like the canopy's color difference there. Nice little juxtaposition next to the jungle. I really like this. I'm sitting here looking up into the camera, and I'm digging it. It's definitely cool. I'm also a little jealous because I broke my Locust. I broke the fin. I broke it. I broke my fin. Alright, so next up for the medium for the swamp looking guys, we've got a Shadowhawk, which is one of my favorites. The Shadowhawk and the Griffin are two of my favorite mechs to try and field. They're not always the best, they're not always the worst. They're kind of middle of the road, consistently consistent at what they do. They're just not always good at everything they do, but they're not bad, and I like them. I feel like I can always find places in my lists for Shadowhawks and Griffins. There's always variants of them that work at a variety of point totals, and honestly, like, it's got the, is it anthropomorphic? No, I don't know if that's right. Not anthropomorphic. Bipedal. Maybe that's, I don't know. It's got that mech side or mech vibe versus like this guy. Yeah, this is one of our mechs from DRD. The quad, it's non-traditional. This has got the traditional, like, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 hands, a head kind of vibe. Humanoid. Jeez, man, I know English. So it's got a humanoid anime kind of appeal to it, and I like that. So I'm definitely happy to add a Shadowhawk to the collection for our Nova Grinder box. For the swamp colored guys, we have got a Phoenix Hawk, which is another classic that you can't go wrong with when you're picking models. Phoenix Hawk's mobility, being able to jump, get that TMM, get behind mechs. It's good. This is going to be a great addition to the medium classes for the grinder box as well. And I dig the camo pattern. It's very cool. Very cool. I also appreciate that the basing on a lot of these is different. I mean, the 2 forces he sent are different, but of all the stuff I have on my desk, which I'll show you guys that when we do the sign off at the end, I'll show you all the models we've got for the Nova box to date. But I like that each one's unique, or each lance, or each individual model. So, next up, for the heavy side, for our swamp-based dudes, we've got the Catapult, and that's another one of those classic Inner Sphere mechs. It's a catapult. Everyone knows what it is. They know what it does. It's going to rain lerms. It's going to rain them on you. It's going to blow you up. That's what they're trying to do. There's a few variants of the Catapult I like, too. I feel like there's one that does its low points, but I think it does 3 damage consistent. It probably has indirect fire as well, and, you know, it's keeping its points down. You still get the same number of pips of armor and structure in general compared to the other catapults, and you're not paying a premium for crazy damage, so people tend to ignore it, and it just sits there and does what it's supposed to do, roll dice. So I dig it. We'll have to see which variants I make into cards for these, but yeah, can't go wrong with a catapult. The whole selection he sent me here, all of it was great. There's nothing here that I wouldn't, or actually there's nothing here I hadn't painted for myself, except I think a Phoenix Hawk. I don't know if I've actually finished a Phoenix Hawk for myself, but I believe I've got multiple Locust, definitely multiple Shadowhawks, I think 2 catapults, multiple Warhammers, multiple Awesomes, and multiple Atlases, or Atli. So you can't go wrong with that. Next up, for the heavy, for the jungle paint scheme, we've got another Warhammer. And again, like the other minis, or the Locust, we've got the Scorched Barrels, which I think is a nice touch. Looks really cool. And we've got, you can see the canopy's got the blue canopy. Yeah. Very cool. Like, I love the Warhammer so much. It's such a cool mini. I mean, and this is also another one of those, like, iconic Battletech mechs. You can't go wrong with a Warhammer. It's like the Warhammer, the Archer, the Marauder. Those are some, the Griffin, the Shadowhawk. Those are some classic Inner Sphere mechs. Classic. I wonder if anyone's going to paint Marauders. I wonder if anyone's going to throw any into our grinder box. I'm going to have to probably do some myself, too, and see what I can do. I have to paint some one-offs or something to throw in that so that I have stuff, maybe filling gaps. I was gonna use these as like eBay auctions to raise money for the channel, but I may actually just throw them into the grinder box. I think that'd be probably better suited. You know, I can save money for stuff, but I think these might go in the grinder box. Maybe as I do tutorial minis, I just throw them into the grinder box as I go. We'll see. But yeah, so Warhammer for the heavy slot for the jungle theme camo, which I really like. And last up, for the swamp theme, we have got an Awesome. I'm a big fan of. Got the standard camo that he's been doing on the other minis as well. The one thing with Awesome that he didn't do, but I'm a big fan of, is checker pattern. It's a great place to break up the mini. I think it would have contrasted too much with the camo, so I would understand why someone would not do it. But I always like to work in a checker pattern of some variety here, because you've already got those deep recesses to give you the square plates on the shoulders, and I really like it. So that's just a small thing for me that I really like, and if you guys are looking to paint it Awesome, that's a nice way to add some variety to your paint scheme without having to freehand, because those are already there for you. Just fill in the colors. So yeah, I dig it. Very cool. Another one of those variants that I think I have a video that went up about this, I think. There's an awesome I like that has, I think, 333 for damage. Points are low because it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's got a lot of HP, so you have to, you know, weigh in. Do you want to invest the points to remove him off the table, take material away from your opponent, just to get rid of 3 damage potential? So you throw those shots at it, and anything you're shooting at the awesome, you're not shooting at something else, which is usually a win-win. And if you don't shoot the awesome, he was cheap, and, you know, he's just going to keep rolling dice at you. So yeah, I dig the awesome. That'll be a good addition to the assault class for the grinder. And last but not least, we have got the Atlas. Cannot go wrong with the Atlas. Big stompy boy, another classic Battletech mech on the cover of many a book and many a box. And I think that anyone who comes by to play the grinder who is not very familiar with Battletech but may have heard of it before, they'll probably recognize this. They'll probably recognize a Timberwolf as well, which I'll be shocked if a Timberwolf does not make it into the grinder box. Again, I might have to fill in and find some models to paint to fill in the gaps myself to make sure there is some representation. But yeah, so to recap here what Mr. Kelly has sent us, we've got the Atlas for the jungle paint scheme. We've got the Warhammer for the jungle paint scheme. We've got the Phoenix Hawk. We've got the Locust filling out the jungle lands. For the swamp lance, we have the Awesome. We've got the Catapults. We've got the Shadowhawk. And we've got the Locust. Now, for the rest of what we've got currently for the box, we have also got a Stinger from Justin that was sent. We've got a Blackhawk / Nova. We've got another Warhammer, can't go wrong with that, and a Massacari. And then rounding out what we've got for our box thus far from Jared, J Forehead, from the Discord, we've got a Puma for the light. We've got a Wolverine for the medium. For the heavy, we have an Archer. Whoops, knocking minis over. And for the assault, we have got the, I believe this was a Gargoyle. So we've got 16 models for the box so far. And before we sign off today, I have a few more minis that aren't painted that were donated from a Discord member here. It is Captain Filler. This is Mr. Adami from Adepticon. I know him. I met him last year and have plans to try and hang out in game. But he sent me some minis. So I'm just going to show you what he sent me because kind of think it would be cool to unbox it. But it's not really unboxing. I've already opened it. Also, his box also had some inappropriate doodles. Thank you. So yeah, so we've got the, I believe this is this a dragon? Yeah, I think this is a dragon he sent over. We've got, I believe this is a thug. I think that's the thug. I'll probably get this wrong. I've got the cards too, but some of the mechs I'm less familiar with. He sent over some Phoenix Hawks, 2 of them, 2 Phoenix Hawks. That's badass, right? He sent over a Nova, another Black Hawk. He sent over a Spider, which is nice. I like Spider's another light mech that I really like. He sent over a Mercury, which is not an easy mech to get duplicates of because it comes out of one of the Comstar level 6 boxes, so appreciate getting another Mercury. Good little mech for the speed and the TMM. And then a Pouncer, also from the new Alpha Strike box, so second Pouncer, so I'll be able to paint that up for something as well, so very cool. Mr. Adami, thank you for throwing some models, models and cards my way, and for everyone who has donated minis to the Nova Grinder box thus far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But on that note, this is what we've got so far. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening to me ramble. Hopefully you've had this on in the background and enjoyed seeing the models we've collected thus far, or just listen to me ramble while you paint. That's cool too. If you're new here and you haven't already, make sure you alpha strike that like and subscribe button. If you want to help support what I do, check the links down below, and check out Fortress Miniatures and Games, supporter of the channel. Bobby's cool people. Supporting him, supporting DRD, help support me. As always, guys, if I do not sign off, you know I will find something to ramble about. I am going to be gone. I'm not sure when this will go up. I'm going to be heading off to Adepticon next week, so content for the channel may be a little bit at a little bit of a lull until after I'm back and have some time to do some filming and try and get some battle reports wrangled. So thank you for bearing with me. Hope you enjoy what we're doing here. As always, keep rolling your dice, keep painting your models, and I will catch you guys next time.